Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is 𝘵𝗵𝗏, the Soldiers Coach, coming to you with your Saturday sessions of your final marching orders. So check it. I have been hit up the last week or two quite a bit from some of our military transition fam, and I wanted to make sure I give them some strategies because I realize people fail without a framework and we struggle without a system. So I wanted to help you guys utilize one of the best websites in the world, I believe, is LinkedIn. That's right, LinkedIn. So World Wide Web, and LinkedIn is the number one website, if you will, database to reach out to people, the hiring managers, recruiters, HR professionals, the whole whatnot. I got a little bit of a glitch, but we're gonna roll with it. So what I've been doing is helping some folks privately, publicly, and I said, you know what, I'm having the same conversations over and over again. Let me see if I can put together a framework to kind of walk through not just one vet, not 10, not 20, not 100, but 1,000, because I realize, y'all, we have over 1 million people in the military, and at some point, all of them will eventually transition out of the military, because at the end of the day, you can't wear that uniform forever. So let's check out what I've put together. It's called the Six-Figure Soldier Academy. Flip to my screen here, and boom. I realize most of us strictly use a resume as a way to kind of build our professional or personal brand. So we use this resume, and that's it. And most of the time we write our own resume, which is kind of wild because, well, you've never been in HR, you're not a professional writer, so why are you writing your resume? Soldiers were trained for the combat battlefield and not the economic battlefield, and I don't think we fully understand the fact that really we weren't trained for business. We weren't trained to think like business professionals or understand marketing and sales and corporate finance. So when we take away that uniform, we have to take off those dog tags for the last time. It's kind of like, now what? So then we put together our military experience on a piece of paper to hand it to a hiring manager, and we don't understand the needs and the wants of what the hiring managers typically look for. Let's not even focus on a little bit of a delay. I think we off by like half a second, but I'm gonna rock with it. So what I realize is most of us transitioning out of the military have a visibility issue. And that's that, hey, I'm dope. I was in the military for 20 years, 10 years. I mean, probably the most famous general, General Garrett, 4-star general out of Fort Bragg, recently retired this week. Salute, sir, after 34 years of service. Can't thank you enough for all you've done. But now I'm like, man, what's 4-star general gonna do next? You know, I mean, what's that resume look like, right? But I realize most of us have a visibility issue because the military is very much blue collar, or green collar, if you will. And we're really not taught to brand ourselves and promote ourselves to the world. So it's not just a visibility issue, it's understanding how to package our knowledge, skills, abilities, and our experience to the world. And not just to the world, maybe aligning with the next world of people who will potentially hire us. So what I have put together here was several worksheets to kind of help mentally transition people from a soldier's mindset to a business professional's mindset. Because again, soldiers are trained for the combat battlefield and not the economic battlefield. So the first thing I want y'all to think about, not just on your resume, but this is why I live and breathe on LinkedIn so much, because LinkedIn is essentially your online resume. It is your virtual space where you get to tell the world, this is who I am, this is my skill sets, this is, everything about me in a professional capacity, and I want to share that with y'all. So you need to be able to tell the world your LinkedIn profile, tell the world who you are and what you can do for them. You should be, I believe, the single source of truth on that lane, in that industry. So I'm the single source of truth on, HR. I'm the single source of truth for corporate finance. I'm the single source of truth for corporate IT. Whatever your lane is in business, you need to try to start branding yourself intentionally as the expert in that lane, because the reality is you are. Like, you were in the military for 5 years, you're an expert at something. You was doing the same job for 10 years, you're an expert at something. The problem is people just don't know that. So you have this dope skill set, and you could probably make 100 grand, 200, 300 grand tomorrow, but the market doesn't know you're there. So you just kind of get in this assembly line of applying to the same 100 jobs like everybody else, 50% chance most of them have a LinkedIn profile. It's probably a 25% chance those people will have their profile filled out correctly. So I just want y'all to be in the mindset of selling yourself. Actually, just let me rephrase that. You need to be in the constant mindset of how you see yourself and sell yourself and brand yourself to the marketplace, because a lot of y'all are selling yourself to the marketplace as soldiers. The soldiers don't get hired, business professionals do. So I'm asking y'all to mentally transition from the way you see yourself and sell yourself and brand yourself as a business professional versus just a soldier, because soldiers don't get hired. Put that on my tombstone one day. All right, so I want y'all to be very intentional of how you sell yourself to the marketplace. So let's, and there's a few different ways that we can do this, and we kind of just really begin the journey. I had a really smart guy, shout out to Coach Kendall Fickler, one of the best coaches I've ever had. He said, you know, I'm a 80s baby. I didn't grow up with the internet. I didn't grow up with Facebook. I didn't grow up with Instagram. I didn't grow up with Twitter. And I thought social media was literally just a celebrity chasing. You know, I didn't need a constant update on what celebrity was doing what, who's married who. And I was at a conference for one of the best speaking programs in the world. Shout out to ETA Game Changers. And he said, it's not social media, it's business media. And then he very dramatically said, now let that breathe. Shout out to Coach K. And what I understood was people like the 1% or the 10% who are really killing it, they utilize social media very differently than most people do. They do not utilize social media for entertainment. They use social media really to educate the masses, the networks of their skill sets and what their, you know, the businesses that they own or the books that they write and how it'll help the market. So how are you utilizing business media to strategically build a brand around your knowledge, skills, and abilities? Are you reaching out to recruiters? Are you reaching out to the hiring manager directly? Are you reaching out to the C-suite of these businesses that you want to apply to? If you want to go work at Tesla, you want to go work at Amazon, have you connected with those C-suite individuals here on LinkedIn? Have you connected with them on other platforms that they use? Do you understand? Do you go to their virtual conferences? Do you sign up? Do you engage? Like, how are you strategically utilizing business media versus social media? So I need y'all to be very intentional about this thing called the World Wide Web, because it's crazy to me. You have worldwide access. And the reality is most of y'all, all of us, have $1 billion network. We just don't know it. Or really, we just don't use it. So I want y'all to be very intentional about how you're using business media to promote yourself and your brand and your skill sets versus just using social media to do the latest dance on TikTok. Cool. Also, I mean, podcasts, and everybody kind of rolls their eyes. I think podcasts is a phenomenal way to kind of, again, demonstrate your knowledge, skills, and abilities in that end area. You know, consider doing a podcast. If I was in the military, you know, for 10 years and was in HR, start an HR podcast. Talk about hiring, talk about the firing, offboarding, onboarding. What is it the recruiting process needs to, how can they improve? I would use a podcast, maybe 10 episodes, to literally demonstrate my knowledge, skills, and abilities. I would use it as an interview, right? So let's think about how it's just another stream, not necessarily of money, but it's another stream for you to demonstrate your dopeness, right? Even a book. I like, damn, you can make an ebook literally in 30 days. Instead of saying, hey, recruiter, here's my resume. Here's my LinkedIn page. Here's my podcast on HR. Here's my book on HR. I did 10 years in the military. Here's what I learned in those 10 years. I can make an ebook. So you want to like build up this baseline that says, hey, this is what I've learned and this is how it can help. More importantly, all of this is how I can help your business make money, or save time. Save time means making them more efficient, right? This is just how to stand out more than just a resume. Damn, that'd be a dope title for a book. More than a resume. You gotta write that one down. And then the last box here is consulting. I've spoken to a lot of veterans, like I said, not just the last 2 weeks and the last few months, that are unemployed. And I was like, well, why don't y'all turn around and consult? Like, you were in the military for 10 years, HR, whatever your lane was, why not just throw together an LLC very strategically and start understanding how you could turn around and build your own business versus asking someone to hire you? Why don't you hire yourself and turn around and find people who could who you can partner with. But soldiers were trained for the combat battlefield and not the economic battlefield. And what I'm realizing is entrepreneurship really isn't even introduced to them, usually until the last 3 to 6 months, maybe if they go to the transition assistance program. And even then, it seems optional. My big crazy pie in the sky theory is, I think every transitioning service member should own a business or a building before they transition out of the military. I think that's very, very important. All right. But my whole point is, I want y'all to build a baseline strategically, more than just a resume. Damn, I gotta use that. Of how you can really promote yourself to the world so that you can fight this enemy of unemployment. Contrary to popular belief, it's not Vietnam, it's not Iraq, it's not Taliban or Al-Qaeda. I think the biggest enemy in the military is unemployment. And a close enemy is probably suicide, right? They say that half the country suffers from depression and the other half of the country suffers from anxiety. So collectively, we have a fear of the past, we have a fear of the future. And if you know, like I do, 22 veterans a day commit suicide. So we got this two-headed monster of unemployment and mental health in the military community. And I think that when we take away their jobs, we take away their uniform, we take away the dog tags, we're essentially taking away their identity. So they lose their job, eventually they'll lose their home, then they lose their mind, and then they lose the will to live. Cool. Right? So I want y'all to be very intentional about rebuilding and rebranding yourself so you can win this battle of unemployment. All right? So I want y'all to be strategic, again, of how you can consistently flood the market with your message the right way. All right. So if you could have, I want you to think about it like this. If you could have 5 minutes with the CEO of the company you'd like to work with or partner with, what would you say? How would you showcase your skill sets? The elevator pitch, let's just say the elevator gets stuck for 5 minutes. I want you to think about what's the proof other than your resume that really only a select few will even see, if that. But what is your proof that you're dope? What is your proof that you were in the military for 10 years and you specialized in HR, you specialized in finance? Like, give me more than a resume is what I'm saying. That's what the market is saying. I think I saw a statistic that said that over 84% of hires come from networking, from referrals. So are you networking with here on LinkedIn the correct way? You should show the world who you are and what you can do for them via demonstrating publicly your dopeness, is what I'm trying to say. Publicly. Build in public. That's why I started utilizing LinkedIn more here in the last year. I was like, I know I was dope. My mama said I was dope, but the world didn't know I was dope because I was hiding from the camera. I come from Charleston, South Carolina. Shout out Chucktown. A blue collar city. I joined the military for 6 years. There's nothing more blue collar than the military. And then I've been in corporate IT for 15 years. So I'm like, every aspect of my life has been, don't be a superstar, don't be a superstar, don't be a superstar, don't be a hero. And then I come to Atlanta, and they're like, yo, you have to promote yourself because no one else will. And I never knew that. So I've been a huge fan of marketing, and I didn't understand because I didn't understand it. I didn't understand why I was unemployed. I didn't understand why I was making a minimum wage job. I didn't understand why no one would hire me. And then I go back and look at my resumes now, and I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't hire me either. But I realized soldiers aren't trained to write resumes. So even if someone does write your resume and they put all the latest buzzwords on your resume, you're going to give your resume to a business. The bigger issue is I didn't understand what a business was because soldiers are trained for combat and not commerce. And business is a numbers game. So how do you help them increase their numbers, right? But you've got to be able to show that on more than just a resume because the competition out here is crazy. You're competing against the World Wide Web, all right? So I just want you all to be very intentional about your branding strategy for your career in this next phase of your life. I want you to make a roadmap, a clarity process for a business. And again, just be very intentional about beating the drum of who you are and what you can do for that business. Again, your social media strategy, business media over social media. You're not using TikTok to play. We may be using TikTok to promote, maybe that consulting business that we can do. But let's see how we can utilize social media to demonstrate our skill sets and then connect with these decision makers, connect with the recruiters, connect with the business partners, connect with the business owners who don't know you. So it's crazy. I have had 3 conversations with billionaires on Twitter. 3. It's like, well, maybe they don't manage their social media themselves. Maybe they don't. But what if they do? Like, I still have access to them and they respond. So it's just wild to me the type of access that we have, all right? And then this third tab here, so digital fingerprints. I just want y'all to be cognizant of everything you put on the World Wide Web, your face, your name, image, and likeness. Like, it all collectively matters in this big computer that is Google. Yes, we are in the Matrix, and the Matrix is Google. But I need you to build consistency with your professional brand that builds trust and value over a long time. Because our experience has taught us that maintaining, brand consistency, like, it's an ongoing, continuous process. And I think soldiers weren't trained to be aware of that. So I want y'all to, if I'm in San Antonio and I'm trying to get a job as a strategic partner in nonprofits, is everybody in San Antonio who's looking for a strategic partner, do you come first of mind? Are you top of mind awareness, as they say? Shout out to the brilliant Kansas Simmons, who's engraved that in my brain. TOMA, top of mind awareness. I need y'all to build top of mind awareness in your lane, in your industry, right? With the hiring manager. And so again, in the last tab here is networking with recruiters. I make sure I have at least 10 or 20 recruiters at LinkedIn at all times. Because a recruiter's whole job is to recruit you for a specific business. They are like assassins, if you will, or hired guns to put you in a job, and they get a percentage of placement for you, but they can actually work for you. So make sure you network with at least 10 recruiters, some brilliant recruiters here on LinkedIn. So you're doing the right thing. If a recruiter's sliding in your DMs, respectively, and offering you a job or opportunity, should be 2 or 3 a month you should be receiving. So make sure you're networking with recruiters. Even if you do have a job, I always tell people this. I mean, we are in the beginning of a recession. Maybe we already officially are in a recession, but you don't own that job, the company does. So I want y'all to be very careful. Make sure you have a strong plan B, because there are no guarantees, y'all. There are no guarantees. I've been there multiple times. It is not fun. So let's just think about how we can do that. Make sure I move my image here. Boom. Technology is fun. So this next page here, I really want y'all to get in the nitty-gritty of, now that I've went over it, and I'm gonna put the PDF in the comments as well, so you can kind of fill in the blank. But I want y'all to actually write down. We have a homework assignment. I want you to write down 5 ways that you could strategically use business media to connect and promote yourself. I want you to write 5 ways. This is not an action. This is not a question. This is an order. I'm giving you an order. Military, I'm giving you marching orders right now. I need you to be very strategic in how you can utilize business media the right way. When's the last time you connected with someone at the company that you want to work for on LinkedIn? When's the last time you connected with a recruiter? When's the last time you connected and actually had a virtual lunch, virtual coffee, if you will, with someone? When's the last time you went live and talked? When's the last time if I went on your social media right now, what would I see? Entertainment or education? Be very, very intentional. I want you to think about 3 to 5 ways of 3 to 5 podcasts in the next lane that you want to do. Again, if I'm just getting out of the military and I'm doing HR, can we start a podcast around HR? I mean, DEI is the 3 hottest letters in the alphabet right now. Can we start a podcast, a conversation to build brand awareness and say, hey, when people see you speak publicly, continuously, they associate you with that as an expert. Joe Rogan. He's not an expert. That's not what the market says. I'm not saying that's a good thing. Just using him as an example. And then again, Amazon, Kindle, Amazon Kindle. It's like you could write a book in a weekend. It's crazy to me. I'm using the military for 5 years. You got stories, experience. The reality is you're the entrepreneur of your own expertise. Put that in a book and document it. Give me 100 pages. It's easy. Again, to build brand awareness and get you out there and promote yourself. And then I honestly believe every adult in America could have their own LLC in some capacity, and you can consult based off of what you were taught in the military. I promise you. Weapon safety. Tell me we don't need that right now. And then I want you to, again, your branding strategy for your career standpoint, outside of, give me more than a resume. I want you to write 3 to 5 ways that you can actually strategize to put yourself out there. The best way to do that is looking at other people who have already done it. So if I'm thinking about, hey, if I'm trying to go from corporate IT and I want to be a CIO or VP of technology, what are the other VP of technologies doing? What are the other CIOs in technology doing? How are they promoting themselves? Are they speaking at conferences? Where are they at digitally, virtually? How can I mimic their moves? How are they branding themselves? I mean, the competitors, especially here on LinkedIn, like, they're giving you the answers. So I want you to think about how they brand themselves versus how you are branding yourself. So be very intentional with that. Again, social media strategy. I connect with a lot of military generals on Twitter. It's kind of wild to me. It's a small group. I think there are 300 generals I know there are 300 generals in the Army. Shout out to General Beagle, who just got promoted to 3-star. I see you, sir. But how are y'all utilizing social media to connect, build relationships, cultivate relationships to show that you can solve problems for that business, right? Social media is a gold mine. Your digital fingerprints. If I Googled you, what would I see? That college profile pic with you and 2 red cups. Like, we got to be very intentional about who we are presenting and promoting ourselves to the market to be. So your digital fingerprints, it matters. Networking with recruiters. Again, the career fairs and the job fairs are cool, but I mean, we live in a world now where they're doing Zoom job fairs daily here on LinkedIn. I mean, shout out to the guys and the team at Hired Military, HireOurHeroes.com. But you can network with so many recruiters. Just go into LinkedIn and type recruiters at the top left, and it'll give you the 100,000 recruiters here on this platform. If they ain't coming to you, something's wrong with your profile. Let me just start there. As a bonus tip, I'm begging you to hire a professional resume writer, and the good ones will turn around and write your LinkedIn profile as well. LinkedIn is your digital resume. Do not argue with me on that. All right, cool. Yeah, I got my screen back. So that's your homework for this one. This next sheet here that I put together, I got a lot of feedback from a post I put in the military transition group. The 10 things that I would do if I was transitioning out of the military. These are, if it's July 10th, 11th, whatever today is, what are the 10 things that I would do if I was getting out of the military right now, if I was getting out tomorrow, or this year, this week, this month. I mean, your contract has an end date. It is a contract for a reason. So after the terms and conditions have been met, eventually you will have to transition out of the military. So I don't understand this whole concept of waiting until we get out of the military to start doing something. So I want y'all to be very intentional about think about it every day. Like, I'm getting out of the military tomorrow. What is the game plan? What is the game plan? And the first thing, I think the biggest reason soldiers struggle so much is they are stuck in the mindset of being a soldier. Soldiers are trained, drilled to be a soldier, a fighter, a warrior. The whole point of the military is to train for a war, or to actively be in a war, or we're getting ready for the next war, right? Sometimes it feels like we're preparing for World Wars 3, 4, and 5 at the same time. Like war. But the reality is, most people in the military only do 6 years. They do a 4-year agreement, and then they turn around and do a 2-year reenlistment just to buy some time. But if you actually look at the numbers, most people transition out of the military at the age of 24, 25. So you're really in the military for a short period of time over your lifespan. And the reality is that you are a business professional. You're not just a soldier. You are a business professional. You are a business professional. You are a business professional. The soldiers are trained for the combat battlefield and not the economic battlefield. So I want you to be very intentional about how you see yourself, sell yourself, and brand yourself. And I believe that if we do not mentally transition out of the military, we stay in this military mindset for our entire life, which is cool. But what's not cool is when you present yourself to the marketplace as a veteran and soldiers don't get hired. Business professionals do. So the first, second, and third thing I always say is You need to know, acknowledge, and understand that you are a business professional first, second, and third, then a soldier, then a sailor, then a Marine. I love the Marines. Those bastards are crazy. Once a Marine, always a Marine. That's kind of true. It's just really good marketing. It's a story that we say over and over and over again. The brotherhood, the fraternity. I mean, if I go to Florida State and I first day of freshman orientation and 4 years later I graduate and, I become officially a Florida State alum, I can't go back to freshman orientation. You can't go back to English 101. You can't go back to, college algebra. No, like, you are part of the alumni. You're part of the Florida State family, but you are no longer an active student. It's like my soldiers. You are no longer active duty. Like, I love that the speech. Make your bed every morning. Make your bed. If you don't do anything else, make your bed. I respectfully disagree with that. Do not make your bed. Ever. Ever. Why? Because there's no inspection coming. No one's coming in and check your room. We don't live in the barracks anymore. I don't want you to make your bed. Ever. Ever. I don't do it just out of principle. It's not because I'm lazy. It's not going to help me get hired. It's a great speech, by the way, but I'm like, y'all are like stuck in the mindset of a soldier. There's no inspection tomorrow. There's no inspection. It's okay. All right, but we're stuck in the mindset. We see ourselves, we sell ourselves, and we brand ourselves to the marketplace as soldiers. So we never mentally transition as the business professionals that we really are. So I just want y'all to be very intentional about how you who you see when you look in the mirror. So you should be saying, I'm a really, really dope business professional. So I want you to write this out. What are the 5 ways that you can help a business make money, or save time? Saving time means making them more efficient. Time is money. All right? It's actually a terrible phrase, but it's real. All right? Well, what are the 5 ways? I really want y'all to be intentional with this. What are the 5 ways you help a business make money, or save time? I help a business do X, Y, Z. So I was in corporate IT for a long time. So I help a business better utilize technology in a more efficient and effective manner to impact the bottom line, try to save them 30% per year. Boom. When I first got out of the military, I said, I fix computers. You see how that's different? I help businesses better utilize technology in a more efficient and effective manner to typically impact the bottom line by 25%. Boom. Versus, I fix computers. Be very, very intentional about how you are branding yourself and understanding what exactly it is that you do. What is your superpower for a business? Why should they hire you? Why? All right? You are a business professional. I want you to write out 5 ways, ladies and gentlemen, 5 ways that you help a business make money, or save time. Business is simply a numbers game. All right? Business, literally, by definition, it's a repeatable process that provides a product or a service in exchange for money. Like, boom. It's a repeatable process that provides a product or service in exchange for money. That's all a business is. So how do you help that repeatable process provide that product or that service in exchange for money? Where are you in that definition? I need y'all to be able to write that down clearly. It needs to be on your resume, and more importantly, it needs to be on your LinkedIn profile. It needs to be in your About Me section. It needs to be in your header. It needs to be in all of your experience. I need you to post 3-4 times a week to show how you can do that. You are a business professional. You're not a soldier. Fun fact, the military is a business. Curveball. That's a different business model. They provide a product or a service. The military is in the service of security. The military is in the service of defense. We protect the homeland for a fee. It's just have a different business model because it's funded through taxpayer dollars. You live in America, that federal, that federal taxes go to the government. So the military fund is actually a business. I want y'all to think about that. The second thing, study business like a CEO. It's crazy to me when I think about how many books I did not read about business. How many seminars have you guys attended this year? I mean, virtually is crazy. You can go to a conference every day, Zoom link about anything, entrepreneurship, write a book, real estate. How many business seminars have you attended this year? You can network with people in the chat. You can network. It's not even about who's on the stage. It's the person you're sitting next to, the person you're sitting in behind of, in front of. You're probably sitting next to a millionaire. You're probably sitting next to somebody who can help you grow your business, your brand, who can probably hire you at these seminars. So I'm a big fan of conferences and going to conferences. I always try to go to 5 a year. I try to go to 1 every other month at a minimum as a result. So how many business seminars, how many books have you read? You get paid to solve problems or manage problems for a business, and you can't solve business problems you don't understand. Check this out. These are the business books I have. This is the Wealth Choice. Shout out to Dr. Dennis Kimbrough. He's the dopest college professor in Atlanta. He wrote the Wealth Choice. This is my Bible. Check out this book. This is the YouTube formula. YouTube, fun fact, is a computer program. It's a database. It's an algorithm. So I had to read how to punch the algorithm in the mouth. Don't believe me? Google military transition speaker and tell me who comes up number 1 on Google. I'll wait. Nah, go ahead and Google it. I'll wait. No, I'm just kidding. YouTube formula. I had to read how to master YouTube. I had to read this book called Content Inc. You see this? Content Inc. It's a business book. I want to study business. Mindset. It's a book on psychology. How to learn to fulfill our potential. Marketing is psychology. How to get paid for what you know. My brother, 9 to 5 millionaire, Jamal King. So these are just some of the books that I've picked up in the last 6 months, a year. But my bookshelf is filled with books because I realized that I never studied business like a CEO when I was in the military. So I need y'all to be very intentional about studying business like a CEO, because the reality is we're all the CEO of our own career, of our own life, right? Cool. So I want y'all to come up with a business plan. I want y'all to write. I want y'all to pick up 3 to 5 business books this year. If you're not reading them, listening to them on Audible, shit, a lot of them are leaked on YouTube. Just Google Audible books. I mean, that I know of, 2 billionaires wrote books on how they built $1 billion business, and no one talks about it. It's a book called Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. He literally told you how to build $1 billion business, and some of us are on TikTok dancing. There's a gentleman by the name of Sam Walton called Made in America. He told you how he built Walmart, and people don't read it. It's funny to me that books never are trending on social media. But I need y'all to start studying business like a CEO, because the reality is you are a CEO of your own career. But we were trained for combat and not commerce. Right? That's the reason why unemployment is so big in our transitioning military. Number 3 is pick a lane. You cannot chase 2 rabbits. I legitimately had a conversation with a vet who was like, I want to be in HR. Cool. But then he was like, yo, I want to be an outdoor ranger, a park ranger. What? I want to be in HR. I want to be the HR director, hiring manager. Awesome. I also want to be a state park trooper. Like, my man, those are 2 different lanes, 2 different education, 2 different certifications, 2 different levels of experience. You don't have to pick a lane. What do you want to do with your life for the next 3 to 5 years, 10 years? You don't even got to go 20. But be very intentional. I knew that when I got out of the military, actually I didn't know this at first, but like 2 years later, it took me 2 years, I'm a slow learner, to realize that corporate IT was my thing. I speak technology like most people speak English. I speak technology like most people speak Spanish, French, or I shouldn't say Russian at this point, bastards. But you have to pick a lane, and I realized that technology was my competitive advantage. This is why I was kicking ass at Oregon Trail in like 1992, because I realized there was a pattern of code. So my lane was technology. So I focused on technology. What is your lane now that you are getting ready to get out of the military? This is why I don't believe that they should start transitioning the last year that they get out of the military. I want them to transition out the same day they transition in. I think basic training should be 9 weeks, not 8, because the 9th week I want them to start transitioning. Hey, you're not going to be here forever, so what's the strong plan B, C, and D? All right. So think about what you really want to be in for the next 3 to 5. Once you pick a lane, I want you to study the GOATs, the greatest of all time in that lane. You know, someone locally in your city, someone in the state, someone in your region, someone across the country, somewhere international. Fun fact, the world's a lot bigger than America. So who's dope in HR, who lives in Spain, who lives in France, who lives in South Korea? I want you to study the titans of industry in this new lane that you want to be in. Who's dominating? And this is a really cool, that's why I love LinkedIn so much. You can literally type in that career field that you want to be in, and LinkedIn will literally rank the top 10, 20, 30 people in that industry. It's amazing. You can literally rank who's the best. So I literally did that for IT. I saw the 25 best CIOs in Atlanta, and I printed out all of their profiles and put it on my living room floor, and I did a compare and contrast. These are the skill sets they have. This is the education. These are the buzzwords that I noticed that they talk different on their resumes and their LinkedIn profile than everybody else that I had worked with. I was like, ooh, their resume don't look like everybody else's resume. How do I fill in my gaps to make my resume look like that? Is it a cert? Is it an MBA? But I realized the meat and potatoes wasn't their experience was what made them dope. And I never understood after getting out of the military how my experience could impact the business. So I want you to study, I want you to write down 10 names, find 10 people on LinkedIn who you can study in this next lane. 10 of them. And the best way to do this too is I would look at the job. If I want to go get hired by Coke, if I want to go get hired by Delta, I would go looking for that position. I'd find the person who's currently in that role on LinkedIn, their profile, and on the bottom right, it'll always say people also search for. It'll give me 10 other people who look just like that person based on their title and their experience. So LinkedIn is this never-ending database of people who are kind of organized and structured to kind of be there for you, and you can like fill in the blanks. It's kind of wild to me. So yeah, let's study the GOATs is number 4. Number 5. Cool. Find a coach. I will forever die on this hill. I think Jordan. I think Jordan and LeBron are probably neck and neck. The difference is Michael Jordan played for Phil Jackson and he played for Dean Smith. He played for the 2 greatest coaches in the history of the sport, and LeBron has played for like 8 different head coaches. You need, every championship team has a championship coach. Everyone. Greg Popovich, Phil Jackson, Bill Belichick, Tiger Woods, Serena Williams. It's no coincidence that they keep winning. Tom Brady. I mean, it's clearly that they have a great mentor or coach. And now that you're getting ready to transition out of the military, who's going to be your coach? I think the military did a phenomenal job with having built-in mentors, built-in coaches, a built-in program. But who's your coach now that you're getting ready to transition out? Because it's a whole other fight that you weren't trained for. So you need a coach, a mentor in this next phase of your life. All right. Every championship team has a championship coach. Fight me. Go Google it, but I already have, so you don't need to. All right. So find a coach. I want you to write 3 to 5 names of people on LinkedIn who do mentoring, who do coaching that you could have in your backpack for when you transition out of the military. I don't want y'all to wait until the day that you get out. But, oh yeah, I need a coach and mentor. Like, nah, it probably should start way, way sooner. Number 6, find a team. I want you to write 10 names here on LinkedIn of people that you could, you need a support system, man. It's hard to lose your job. It's embarrassing. It feels like shame. So I a virtual team, if you will. It's a virtual support team, right? Give me 5 to 10 people who could love on you, encourage you, support you in this journey. You need to have support, encouragement, not just at home, but in the boardroom. Trying to get to the boardroom. Again, 84% of jobs are done through referrals. So who are you networking with here on LinkedIn to be a part of their team? How do you help them? How do you push them? How do you pull them and who they're called to be? Can't just be one-sided. Support goes both ways, but I want y'all to be very intentional. You are not on this journey alone. All right, so you need a team of people to help grow you, push you, and pull you into that next level of version of you, right? Every version of your life requires a different version of you. So who's on your team to help you get there, all right? Number 7 is find a winning routine. I really want you to think about, I hated getting up at 5 in the morning. I'm not a morning person at all, ever. But I can stay up till midnight. I can stay up to 2, 3 in the morning working on stuff. That was my routine. I don't need you to just have a routine like habit. I need you to find a winning routine. I always say like the military was the hardest thing. It's the hardest job and the easiest job in the world because it's easy because you don't have to think about it. Military tells you where to go, where to live, what to wear. You don't have to think about anything. It's already decided for you. It's this one big system, this one big routine. But it's the hardest job because the work is hard. I'm not saying that the work is easy. I'm just telling you, they're giving you the map. They're giving you the strategy. They're giving you the guideline. You just don't have to think about it. So the work is hard, but the decision has been made for you. You're going to be in the military the next 4 years, 5 years, 10 years. So it's very, very easy to follow the plan. The work is hard. But now that they've taken away the uniform, they've taken away the dog tags, your contract has come to an end, what is your winning routine now that you're getting ready to get out of the military? Find your winning routine, guys. I hate going to the gym in the morning, but I realized I had to. Like I put on 15 pounds during COVID because I was an avid runner. The treadmill was my therapist. I took all my hate, hurt, and all of this out on the treadmill. So when the gym shut down, I shut down. I lost my routine. So you have to stick to a winning routine. Like, what is your routine to find a job? What is your routine? Like, do you reach out to 3 recruiters every day? Do you reach out to 10 hiring managers every day? What does that routine look like for you so that you can stay mentally fit in this game? Just because you make 6 figures doesn't mean you're happy. Just because you make 7 figures doesn't mean you're happy. What is your winning routine? Spiritual growth as well, right? There is such thing as depressed millionaires. So I need you to write out a winning routine now that you're getting ready to transition out of the military and kind of be on your own time. Many of us can't handle that type of freedom. All right, so don't go reckless. Number 8, experience over everything. Certifications matter 100%. Does my education matter 100%? At the end of the day, what do you do for a business? Your experience is your empire. Your experience is your empire. So I want you to think about how your experience really and truly impacts that business. I remember going to college at Southern Polytechnic State University, here in Marietta, Georgia. And I remember this guy was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go cert crazy. I'm gonna get 9 IT certs, and I'm gonna get all these certs, and I'm gonna get a job." I was like, "Have you ever been in IT?" He was like, "Nah, but I'm gonna get all these certs, and I'm gonna get hired." Yeah, here's the thing. Certs and education is cool. I believe if you're in America right now, there's no reason you shouldn't have a college degree because every college in America offers online classes. I mean, shit, when Harvard and Yale are doing online, you really don't have an excuse. There's money out there, there's grants and all that. You don't have enough reason not to go to school. So I'm not saying you shouldn't have a cert or you shouldn't have an education. I just want you to be very intentional about the experience that you're bringing to hiring managers and recruiters. If you were to get on a flight and you notice that the pilot was like this 22-year-old kid, a lot of them in Delta, they will come and meet you out there as you board the plane or as you get off. But if the pilot was this 22-year-old kid, he was like, "Hey, what's going on? This is my first day flying. I'm super excited to fly with you guys." He's like, "Oh, don't worry. I went to the best aviation school. I got straight A's. I got 10 certifications in aviation flight management." Have you actually flown a plane before? Nah, this is my first day. I'm excited to try. Like, yo, on paper, he checks every box. Got certs, got the education. Have you had 10,000 hours in the air? Oh no, you are not my pilot, sir. I'm sorry, you are not my pilot. I want my pilot to have gray hair, right? The gray hair. It's like you have 20 years of experience of flying this damn thing. You do not have 20 years of reading about how you could fly a plane. I don't want to have you how review 20 years of how you studied how to be a pilot. I want you to have experience. So I want you to be very intentional about how your experience will help you get you in the boardroom in this next phase of your life. Education is important. Certification is important. Your experience is your empire. What exactly have you been doing with your life, and how does that help a business make money, or save time? Cool? Cool. Awesome. And these last two is entrepreneurship. I believe every soldier transitioning out of the military should own a business or a building before they transition out. Why? 85-90% of businesses fail. Why do I need to start a business? To make money? To be rich? No, to transition the way that you think. People physically transition out of the military, they never mentally transition out of the military. So I want you to be very intentional to see yourself and sell yourself and brand yourself to the marketplace as the CEO of you, LLC. Your name is John Doe, you should have a John Doe LLC. Your name is Jane Doe, you should have a Jane Doe LLC. I want you to have a business in your name so you can mentally transition the way you think and see yourself and understand that you are the CEO of you, LLC. And you'll begin to understand, like, hey, if I have this skill set, I have this experience, I want to provide it to the market. Okay, now you need to understand marketing. You need to understand how to close a deal. You need to understand how to manage that money, that corporate finance. It'll help sharpen your business savvy if you think about just owning a small, something small. Shit, open up a lemonade stand. It's LegalZoom.com. Go get you an LLC and think about how you can make your first $100. Think about how you can get to $1,000, your first $10,000, your first $25,000, your first $50,000, $100,000. Many of y'all are looking for jobs for $75,000, $80,000, and you have the knowledge, skills, and experience to build a $300,000 a year business. Hire yourself. But soldiers are trained for the combat battlefield, not the economic battlefield. So when I got out of the military, I didn't even know I could start my own business. True story. It wasn't until I moved to Atlanta and everybody had an LLC. No one told me that I could use my credit to turn around and buy rental property under a business. And so I did it. And so I was like, damn, why didn't I do this 10 years ago? But you are the entrepreneur of your own expertise. You were in the military for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. You're an expert at something, man. But package it, put it together, find people who are looking for that skill set, utilizing this thing called the World Wide Web, and then offer it to them for a price. Here's my knowledge, skills, and experience for $250, for $500, for $1,000, for $2,000, for $10,000. I'll work for you for 2 months for $10,000. Package together what you've been through. Every day on this planet, it means something. You've been on this planet for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. What did you learn in your 168 hours? How can you package that to help somebody who is where you were? Right? I want you to think about, write out 5 business ideas that you can start, that you can own, like in the next 30 days. You have to find a market for it, but I want you to be very intentional about being CEO of you, LLC, because we were not trained to do that. So I want y'all to be very, very intentional from that aspect. And then last but not least, kind of what I'm known for is a concept called the Rule of 168. And it's a simple rule. There's 7 days a week, 24 hours in a day, you got 168 hours. So the Rule of 168 says that if I were to look back and audit your time, your 7 days, your 168 hours, literally hour by hour, how you spent each day, is the majority of your 168 hours going to show that you positively and productively were rebuilding your life? It's a yes or a no question. Did you spend the majority of your 168 hours positively and productively rebuilding your life? Oh, you didn't? Go sit your ass down somewhere. Come back next week and build better. Be very intentional. You have to positively and productively rebuild your life every single week. You had a shitty childhood? Cool. You and everybody else. You didn't go to private school? Cool. You and everybody else. You didn't get into the school you wanted? Cool. You and everybody else. What are you doing to rebuild and get better week by week by week? Yeah, I got my first 6-figure job. I'm amazing. I'm awesome. I also suffered through severe depression. So yeah, there's no balance there. There's like 6 areas of life. There's your professional career, right? Then you have your financial independence or finance, right? So yes, you make 6 figures, but you spend 6 figures. So you can't really check the box. And then you have like personal relationships. Maybe you're married. Maybe you have a terrible relationship with your parents. Maybe you have a terrible relationship with your neighbors. When's the last time you had dinner with your neighbors? Why does no one do this anymore? So you have career, you have finances, you have personal relationships, relationship with your siblings, relationships with your community. You have mind, body, and soul, like collectively all of this together. And then you have your education. Give or take, those are the 5 big areas of life. Career, job, right? Relationships, finances, mind, body, and soul, and your education. There's formal education and there's self-education. The greatest phrase I ever heard that changed my whole life is formal education will earn you a living, self-education will earn you a fortune. So, collectively, you should be positively and productively focusing on those 5 areas, which makes up your 168 hours. So the rule of 168 is, are you positively and productively rebuilding your life week by week by week? When's the last time you went to a gym? When's the last time you called your grandma? When's the last time you invested $1 in something? When's the last time you invested $1 in you? Right? I know a lot of people make a lot of money. They got 4 and 5 Louis bags. They got the Range Rovers. They got the money, and they're absolutely miserable. It's like when you focus so much on your career and your money, but you haven't focused on your personal relationships. You haven't focused on your relationship with yourself. Those type of things. The rule of 168 is a balance of life. The reason I say this is that 22 veterans a day commit suicide. I'll let you Google it, but I already have. So I know the numbers. I know that we lose 5,000 veterans a year to suicide. So yeah, you might make 6 figures, but if you go home and you don't want to live, you don't want to wake up tomorrow, your 6-figure job is kind of irrelevant. So when people are like, hey, I'm getting ready to transition out of the military, I need a job, I need a job, I need a job. The problem with exiting the military is they will show you the world in general. People will teach you how to build a resume, but no one teaches us how to build a life. And that's heartbreaking. Cool. Just last week in the NFL, there was a young man who's 26 years old who OD'd. His dream was just starting. He OD'd at 26 on cocaine. Probably signed $1 million deal. I'm pretty sure he had $1 million life insurance policy, so his parents were millionaires, but they lost their baby. Who was just living his dream and probably made one wrong decision at the night. And I think it was cocaine laced with fentanyl. And I'm like, man, how many times we have to hear this story in this country? So I want y'all to be very intentional about the life that you are building. You are not looking for a job now that you're transitioning out of the military. You're rebuilding your life. And so there's a balance of life. There's a balance of structure. So I just want you guys to be intentional with the life you are building as a result. Cool? I don't think it likes this frame. I think that's what's killing it. Boom. All right, y'all. Those are my 10 things I would be doing to utilize LinkedIn and finding out how to better utilize this dope website in your next journey as you journey out of the military and into the civilian world. So if I can help you guys in any way, hit me up. I think all of my information should be here in the comments on my profile. You just go to 𝘵𝗍𝗺𝗏𝗏𝗏. As the link there implies, yeah, if you're a base commander, if you manage veterans, veteran organizations, y'all need a speaker, coach, or trainer to kind of come in and love on the troops. I am your guy. I like to say that I'm the best in the world at what I do because I love on veterans until they learn to love themselves. Cool? Ladies and gentlemen, my name is 𝘵𝗍𝗺𝗏𝗏, the Soldier's Coach, and I would tell you peace out, but the reality is most of y'all need peace in. I will see you guys next week. Peace.